Well, welcome back to the Blossom School of Business podcast. This is your host, Ryan Hugler, and today I am with Stephen Cochran of Cochran Lawn Care and Landscape. Go ahead and introduce yourself and kind of tell everybody what you do.
All right, my name is Stephen Cochran. I'm the owner of Cochran Lawn Care and Landscaping. I've been in business for a good 8 to 9 years. I became a career firefighter in 2016. That's whenever I wanted my business to kind of go off, you start growing. And I'm married, got 4 kids, and just living a life, trying to grow, trying to be a family man and combine all those things together.
Right on, right on. So why lawn care?
Before I became a career firefighter, I was a foreman for a pretty good sized lawn care company here in Huntsville, Alabama.
Okay, right on. And then what are your goals and outlook for 2022?
To grow. With all this inflation, I don't know how much we can grow, but
Yeah.
fuel prices have already doubled since this past fall. That are already almost $4 as of today, and so materials have went doubled. Plants have went doubled. But the goals is to take less work off of me out in the field, and to be more of an owner and a planner, and let the 2 guys that I've hired this year do more work, and where I can spend more time with the family, so on and so forth.
Right on. And I'm glad that you mentioned pricing, because is that something that you're doing this year? Are you raising prices because of all the
Yes.
price increases? So how are you going
So
about that?
we had a price increase letter that we downloaded offline. Pretty much just sent out. I've got 55 clients. I believe I sent out 30 letters. Most of them were already priced pretty good, and I did not go up on everyone. I went up on the ones that I knew that needed it or were borderline. And so we sent out the letters. That was my really first time ever raising the prices. Didn't know if I was going to get anybody dropped. Didn't know if I was going to get anyone to call and question me. Why are you doing this? But so far, I've kind of reached out to a few of the close clients that I have and say, hey, did you get the letter? And, oh yeah, no problem. And not had a single negative response or client who has dropped or none of that. So I did not go up like a certain percentage, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
The 40s went to 43, the 45s went to 48, the 50s went to 53. So I pretty much went up $3 per cut on these clients. So it's not where I think it should be. Probably next year, going to do another dollar or two. Just especially if the inflation keeps going up. But if it comes back down, I think we'll possibly stay. But it's I have not seen gas prices and plants double. Nurseries can't get plants. It's going to be a very interesting year, man.
Yeah, I've had to adjust a few quotes that I gave in the fall, but they didn't want to necessarily go forward yet. And then now I got to readjust them because all those prices are changing for stuff.
Yeah,
Now we've
100%.
we've kind of been going back and forth for, I don't know, 6 months or so on Instagram. And I know one of the times that we talked, you talked about kind of a pricing strategy. Are you implementing that? And like, can you just go over kind of how you go about pricing?
Yeah. So as far as lawn care, it's by how long it takes us. I know there's some companies that might do it per square foot.
Yeah.
Um, that's really really hard for me because um, there may be some clients who want behind the fence, every other week that doesn't really get seen and whatnot. So
Mm-hmm.
um, I was told that for your scheduling, do it in blocks. So if you and your helper can get let's just say 16 blocks, which is 30-minute blocks, that's 8 hours. And if you can complete a yard, 1 yard per block, then it should be a lot easier to schedule and to fit in. Well, I can't, I can only get 15 yards here, or this company can only do 30 yards in a day. Well, everybody's different, and everyone is, everyone's yards are different sizes. But as far as um, uh, the block system, and you go off of I believe $60 per block.
Okay. Yeah.
If you can, I mean, I've got 2 or 3 customers that have super small lots that take us 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So that should be, $30. But if I can get 2 of them during that block, that's $60.
That's when you're cooking.
Yeah. And so, the 30-minute yards, they should be $50 to $60. And so that really kind of fits into where, instead of looking at how many yards that you can get done, or how to schedule it, look at how many blocks, because you might be able to get 2 or 3 yards done in a block. And so Alex with Trifecta really helped me with that, and gave me that perspective. And it has really really helped, man, because kind of an example, in this is where everything kind of started from, with leaf cleanup down here. I like to do it as a weekly maintenance, just like lawn care.
Yeah.
It's easier. I don't like being on a property for 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I like to show up, get the job done, on to the next one. And if you maintain a property, then it continuously looks good. But if you get done with lawn care and then you don't show up for 2.5 months, and then you show up and you do a huge half-a-day cleanup, to me, I just don't like that. So I want
Yeah.
to continue to show up every week and do leaf cleanup. And so in the past, it was like, hey, we'll just charge you your regular rate of lawn care for leaf cleanup. Well, that was fine and dandy until a storm blew in. And the very next week, we were there for an extra hour. And I had to charge the customer what I told him.
Mm-hmm.
So this year, I'm having like a little brochure made up of our services, and so new clients, I can hand in the brochure and they can actually see what we're. This is Cochran Lawn Care and Landscaping right here. They have landscaping, they have lawn care, we have leaf cleanup, and underneath the leaf cleanup, it will say leaf cleanup is a weekly service. It will be charged at your lawn care rate unless it takes longer.
Gotcha.
So that is, I'm really hoping is going to save us for um, getting stuck like we did last year.
Yeah, and since you mentioned that a while back, I've kind of started noticing, like, I've started using that as well in my own business. I'm kind of just blocking out like those more the one-time jobs than the lawn
Hmm.
care, because I still do lawn care based on square footage, just because I guess that's how I like to do it. I think of it as square foot in terms of time, kind of, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um, but
Some people that comes easier for them
yeah.
versus time, I guess you could say.
And then my thing is as well, since I'm in college, 2 hours away from where I service a lot of my properties, 5 days out of the week, if I get a call looking for a quote, I can measure a property easily, kind of just see like
Correct.
the trees, and then compare that to my other properties that I do know how long it takes. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how I personally like to do it, and it just works best for me. But for the one-off jobs, I have definitely noticed that, like, okay, because it's impossible to guess exactly how long something is going to take, and that
Oh,
has kind of
100%.
that's driven me crazy before. Like, I think it's going to be exactly 4 hours, and then it's off, and I'm like, but I've been looking at it in bigger blocks. So, like, I kind of think of it as a small job, like a quarter of a day, a half day job,
Yeah.
3/4 day job, full day job, like for the
Mm-hmm.
one-off jobs. That's kind
Yeah.
of how I've been looking at it, and just kind of have those like 4 price points that I can give,
Yeah.
because I know it'll take somewhere in that range. But yeah, that's how I've
That's
adopted
a
it.
that's a really good idea. How much does what do you want your business to make
Mm-hmm.
in a half a day or in a full day or in a 3/4 of a day? That's very, very good. And that's kind of going back to what does your business need to make versus want?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, um, we've got 2 employees. My wife is going to be on the payroll this year as the admin. And so, like, I've had to figure out what the business has to make per week from now until the end of the year to afford her salary and the bills, not payroll, not spending money, the mower payment, the truck payment, the utilities, the um, insurance, the cell phones, and her payroll. And it was a shock, needless to say. It
Yeah.
was a shock, and that made me go back to, well, the business has got to make this much. I mean,
Yep.
tomorrow we are going to go out and do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 crepe myrtle, roses, and perennials. We've got 8 jobs, and the business is going to make what it needs to make,
That's
um,
good. That's good.
plus more, in order for us to make that quota. And it's going to be even more when come summertime, whenever the employees are you know out of school and working full time. And so it's been a big adjustment this year, man. Big adjustment, really, really eye opener. And a lot of people say, know your numbers. And a lot of people don't talk about taxes. A lot of people don't talk about business taxes, employee taxes, and all this other stuff. And it has been a learning curve and a definitely an eye opener of how a business should run.
I'm glad you bring up that thing about taxes, because actually tomorrow I'm meeting with my accountant. Because I've last year was the first year that I was legally incorporated, so
Hmm.
I'm in that exact same learning process. And I know you saw it, but a couple of weeks ago I had some struggles with my payroll taxes, and I was just wanting to pull my hair out. But yeah, so is your time, or is your wife going to be full time for Cochran this year then?
Yes,
Okay.
legally, yes. She is going to be helping with estimates. Um, she's going to handle all the payroll, um, pretty much the computer work stuff. Um, Help me set up jobs on the yard book software. Um, you know, she came home in March of 2020 because we were pretty much paying her to go to work to pay for daycare.
Gotcha.
So she came home, and we managed to replace her income. Um, but now that we are a LLC, full legal, 100%, you know, a legit business, if per se, um, I can't just go to the bank and pull out money.
Yep. Yep.
So we're putting her on payroll and doing it by the book.
Right on. Yeah, that was kind of a I I incorporated technically in 2020, at the end of 2020, but I was just just learning exactly what I need to do. It's
Yeah,
definitely a process for sure.
yeah. I mean, we went from 2013, 14-ish. That's when I kind of started my side business,
Yeah.
but still working for the other company. And it was just extra money, just side jobs. But then as we got into 2016, 17, um, it really started growing, 20 something yards. Um, and now we're up to 55 clients, I believe. And yeah, you've got to be by the book, man. Once you get to that certain level, like this is no longer a side business or
Yeah.
just a little extra money. It's a legit business. And so, like you said, it's definitely been a learning curve and a eye opener.
For sure. Now, one thing I kind of want to talk about with you, you are a father of four,
Four,
three, four,
four.
father of four, career firefighter, and have your own lawn care and landscaping company.
Mhm.
Tell me about your time management, because I know like for some people it's like 9 to 5 is work, and then 5 to whatever time you go to bed, it's family time. Obviously, I know you work 24-hour shifts with firefighting, so kind of just
Mhm.
tell me how you go about that.
Um, that has also been a learning experience. Um, so as a career firefighter, I am on shift every third day. Um, I work from 6:45 a.m. till 6:45 a.m. and then I have two days off, 48 hours off. Um, my kids are in sports. I got a 9-year-old, 7-year-old, 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old. And so my two oldest ones are in baseball right now.
Okay,
So
yeah.
it has been just an average day. Yesterday I was on shift. Got home at 7:30. Um, Went out and did some estimates, but a regular day would be get the trailer stuff loaded up. Um, my guys will hop in the truck and we would go cut grass until, you know, 4:30, 5 o'clock, and then rush home, load the kids up for practice, go to practice, come home and shower and get supper and go to bed, and then stay up on the computer for an hour to 2 hours doing estimates and jobs for the next day. So um, I have sacrificed some family time, and that's the importance of me. My goal for this year, going back to earlier, is to maybe let the guys work until 5 and then let me leave at 2 o'clock so I can go get my kids from school,
Mm-hmm.
so we can spend a little family time outside before practice. Or the one thing that I have implemented, I think for 2 years now, is no weekend work. So
Okay, I like
that
that.
has been great. That has really helped. Um, but especially in the summertime, me rolling in at 5 o'clock, unhook, grab the family, and go do practice or whatever else. Yeah, it's a full-time job, man. It's busy, very, very busy. So I'm not perfect anyways. It's definitely a learning experience and adjustments, and um, I may forget here and there about an estimate, but we're all human and we all make mistakes, but we're all always learning.
Right on. So yesterday, one thing that I did was I just completely unplugged everything from the business. So if you got a text message on a Sunday afternoon, you're with your family, are you just like are you gonna respond to that, kind of check it out, or are you just gonna like put it aside and just enjoy your family time? Because I know personally
Um,
when I get a text, I want to just respond right away because like I want to make sure it gets taken care of. But yesterday I just had to unplug,
if
got a
it's
few
if
few of those, and
yeah, if it's a hey, put me on the schedule for shrub trimming, yes, I will respond, no
gotcha.
problem. If it's a problem that I need to go meet the customer, then hey, I'll meet you Monday or I'll meet you Tuesday or something like that. So um, I will still respond and maybe touch base with customers on a Sunday. Hey, we'll be there tomorrow to do this landscape job or something like that. But um, whenever it is family time, my phone won't be beside me 100% of the time. So I may go 2 3 hours without responding, but I will respond to a customer.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's something that I'm personally dealing with, I guess, is just kind of setting those boundaries and I guess enjoying the moment a little bit more.
Yeah,
Um,
it is
but
difficult.
yeah, for sure. Another thing I want to touch on you with is you went to GIE last year, correct?
Mhm. First
So
time.
tell me about that experience and kind of the people you've met and what you have gained, and how that's kind of helped your business.
Um, so we got there not knowing what to expect, man.
Yep.
It was a shock. Whenever they tell you it is huge and you can't see everything in a day, they are 100%. Your feet will hurt, your voice will hurt. It was awesome. Me and my wife went. She actually enjoyed herself a lot, and
That's
so
good.
we met Brian Fullerton, Caleb Allman, uh, 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 Alex with Trifecta. We met a bunch of people, bunch of local guys also
Yeah.
that I haven't met yet, but I've been talking to on Instagram and whatnot. So, uh, Growing Green Landscape, all of them, we met up there and had fun, man. It was good networking. Trifecta really let us kind of follow in the shadows a little bit and start talking with him, and um, he's really helped our business tremendously with just some key facts of what you can do, and I guess the expectations of 2020. And so it was fun. Definitely going to try to go back. um, but it's it's definitely mind blowing to walk into a convention center and then they got like 20 or 30 acres out back, and you just like,
Yeah.
we didn't even hardly touch anything out back. It was just uh, pretty pretty amazing that they can do all that.
Yeah, I'm definitely hoping on being able to make it this year because it's in Louisville, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm in Indiana, so it's not too far down the road, I guess.
No, no, that's pretty easy drive. So
Yes, sir. Now, what is obviously you've been in business for a few years now, and you've been growing slowly over time. What is something that you've feel that you've gotten completely wrong and like was your biggest failure, and maybe you'd go back and change, maybe you wouldn't, so that you could still learn the lesson. So just something that you did wrong that you would kind of point out.
um, two things come to mind is I so when I would consider myself an actual business would probably be year 2017, 18, somewhere in there. And I guess back then, looking at myself, I was still considering myself like a little side business and not an actual legit business.
Mhm.
Um, at the end of the year, it's like, where's my money? I had nothing to show for it,
Gotcha, yeah.
nothing. And then, yeah, it was bad, man. I mean, I think back then we were 25, $30,000, and it was like, where's it at? Nothing in the bank. Just I blew it, just spend it, just whatever. And um, that, and then route density. That is something that is huge. So I live in a town called Owens Crossroads, and if you drive 5 minutes north, there's a little uh, subdivision area that's called Hampton Cove.
Mhm.
Today, that's where all of our lawns are at. There's probably 7 to 8 mile radius of Hampton Cove, and we've got all our clientele in there. And we implemented that in 2021. 2020, if you go over the mountain, that's Huntsville. And we had a bunch of yards out there, and it took me a half a day, a little over half a day, to go cut 7 yards.
Wow.
I was spending so much time driving
Yeah, for sure.
when I could cut, I think during those 7, yeah, it was a 6 to 7 hours from the time I left my house to go time I get back.
Just for
When
those 7 properties?
just for those 7 properties.
Dang.
And now I spend those 7 hours doing 14, 15 lawns,
Mm-hmm.
5 minutes up the road. So we sold those 7 clients to a guy that has lawns in Huntsville. And then, like you're talking about earlier, with boundaries, we do not go over the mountain unless it's for a landscape job that we can make,
Gotcha.
several $1,000s on.
Yeah.
Then it's worth going over the mountain. But our regular clientele, I've broken it down to 3 areas, and right now we've got like 18 just in one subdivision. So we pull in
That's
that
cooking.
subdivision and we don't leave until the end of the day.
That's
And
awesome.
so that is, and that, I mean, that goes back to profitability. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
you're making really good money whenever you pull up and you can do 4, 6, 7 lawns and not move your truck.
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
that's really good money, and that's something that has really, really helped us. If you're not on our route, what we pass by every single day, I struggle to take on that new client. And if it's a 2 or 3 minute detour, well, they're going to get a couple extra dollars on their price. It's
Mm-hmm.
just the only way, the right way to run a business. So those 2 things, man, route density. I've heard about it, but didn't understand it truly until last year. And then the other thing was knowing your numbers, knowing that you gotta have something to show for at the end of the year. You've got to.
Yeah.
Why go work your butt off in the hot heat, and at the end of the year, come Christmas time, you don't have anything to show for?
It is
So
not
that was
worth that.
no, it's not. And that was my young side, not knowing my numbers, just still thinking I was a side business, just
Mm-hmm.
killing time instead of sitting at home for 2 whole days. But it's I'd be a lot farther along if I knew that then.
Gotcha. And I like how you mentioned route density because it's just like a tricky subject for me because I live in a town that's like 2,500 people, 1 mile to the end of the town to the other. So for the in-town people, I can just knock them out back to back, and it's really not much of a problem. But it's also a rural town, so it also spreads out. You also have some clients out in the country and stuff, so it's kind of like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
everyone's different, man. I mean, it's though I there's some people up I forget the company, but I mean, they've got to drive 15, 20 minutes
and yeah, I totally agree.
to
Like route
get
density,
to
yeah, route
to
density
actually
is definitely the
get.
way to go. I think though, it's just the fact that my town's not big enough to have like a super dense route, I guess is what I was trying to say there. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's just
everyone's different, man. But I'm
yeah.
just lucky enough to have um I forget what the population of Hampton Cove was, but it's several thousand, and it's growing. They're throwing up subdivisions left and right over there. So
Perfect place to be.
yeah, big time. So we're getting cranked up. It's I'm excited. I've got I don't know if I told you yet, but so the guy that worked for me last year, Ian. He's a senior in high school now. Um, right now, he is available Tuesdays and Fridays. And then I was like, hey man, we gotta find someone else.
Yeah.
We gotta. And apparently, he's leaving in July to go to Iowa. That's where his extended family is. That's where he grew up, and so I think his twin sister's going to college there, and that's where he wants to go to college. And so he actually went to. They're all private Christian school, and so um, he actually went and found one of his buddies that goes to school there, and it's like, hey man, look, the company I work for is hiring. It's hard work. It's hot.
Yep.
I spoke with his mom the other day, dropping off some uniform stuff, and she's like, you don't understand what you've done for my son. I was like, what do you mean? She's like, if it wasn't for you, he would stay in bed all day and not do anything, but he enjoys getting up and going to work for you. And he is so excited that you have worked for him every single day that it's available. And I was like, wow, okay, that's awesome. And so he actually talked his friend into coming to work, and um, his friend got a really, really good taste last week of hard work. And so we'll see. I think he'll work out pretty good, but he's going to stay local, go to college local, and so hopefully we can train him up and go from there. Do you know Jay Jacobs on Instagram?
Yeah. Yeah.
All his employees are 16, 17, 18, 19-year-old kids.
Really.
If
I
you
like
go,
hearing that because that's kind of my situation.
yeah, and so I mean, if you think about it, and he's one of the guys I met at GIE. Like I purposely went and try to find him, and I was like, how do you do it? And he was like, your local church, your local school, go out. He has 4 Isuzu lawn care trucks, and these girls grab, I think 2 or 3 of them grab a truck, and they go out and they stripe up beautiful fescue grass. And the guys also do landscaping, but also cut grass. I mean, whenever I talking with him, he was like, dude, go out there and recruit from your church, from a local school, from your local rec center, and try to find these kids who want to work, but pay them good. And he does that every year. And they'll work for 2 or 3 years, and then they'll go out on their life. They'll go on to college, or they'll go on to their career choice or
Yeah.
whatever. And so I really, really like that idea. He's got like a recruiting funnel that is continuous from his church and from the school, and so if I can, I guess, kind of mimic that. And I mean, these 2 kids are amazing kids. I mean, you don't have to worry about lying or stealing or anything like that. So I'm stoked. I'm pumped up. Maybe this will work out, maybe not, but I think it's gonna turn out pretty good. I told Ian, I was like, I'm gonna pay you $14-15 an hour. And I asked Jonathan, the newest guy, I was like, what do you want to make? He said, I want to start out at $11 an hour. I was like, done. And I was like, the faster, because see, he's got to learn faster than Ian did. Ian worked all year last year.
Yeah.
He is great on weed eating, blowing, edging, some landscaping. I didn't really put him on a mower much, but I'm going to try to this year. But I've got to make Jonathan that good by end of May. Like I have to.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a challenge. That's going to be a really, really hard challenge to try to cram that quality and that work ethic, and that I've got to get these yards done on a timely manner within 2 months. So Ian actually, so my dad built a house last year and did not put any landscaping in. He wanted to wait. And so that was Ian's first landscape job by himself. The only thing I did was help him go get plants, put the plants where they go, and I assisted him for an hour putting weed mat down. That's it. And
That's
he's
good.
done great. He's done great. So um, we've got, so do, I know you do some, do you do, what is your percentage of landscaping versus lawn care?
So I'll give you a little rundown of my company. So when we started out, I was like 17 in high school, and we just did like everything. Like our first job was
Mm-hmm.
a car detailing. So we weren't even like in lawn care and landscaping
Mm-hmm.
really. And then kind of so I started it with a buddy. He went off to college. I had the whole business. And then once it was all mine, I kind of just started focusing on the lawn care and landscaping. Really, last year was my first year even focusing in on that. Um, and a majority of it was landscaping because I got into it kind of about halfway through the season. So I didn't really catch all those spring rush lawn care clients as much. So I do a lot of it was like landscape cleanups,
Mm-hmm.
general property cleanups. And then we also had some mowing clients that we picked up here and there. But yeah, I would say last year was probably 80% landscaping. I definitely kind of want to switch that up a little bit. Um, my thing is we're starting mowing in April,
Mm-hmm.
and I am in school from till like the beginning of May. So the month of April, I'm 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 kind of scrambling right now because I have four guys right now, two who are rock stars. One, he knows more about landscaping than me, I would say, because his dad's a landscaper and he's just a hard worker and he's really good at it. And then another one who's great on the mower. He worked for another lawn care company in town. So I got those two guys, and then I got two other guys who are a little bit less experienced, but they're good workers. But they're all in spring sports in school. So it's
Mm.
like trying to juggle all that around and be able to capitalize on this April rush. I'm nervous a little bit, but I do. One of the guys also I don't want to spread myself too thin because one of my guys told two of his buddies about working for us and stuff, and they both contacted me. So it's like, okay, I got four guys over here, two guys contacting me for a job. I I mean, I can juggle their schedules and keep them busy in April and maybe May, but then once summer comes around, it's like I can only really keep one or two guys busy like all summer. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to figure out how I want to
Because
attack April.
because of their schedules opening up a lot more. Right
Yeah, so
now,
like in
they're
the
all,
summer, like they're looking for like a full summer job or whatever, they
yeah.
have the availability. But right now they're just like um I got it's guys in baseball, track, the spring musical, and it's just like I can piecework them and like get the schedule filled. However, come summertime, there's no way I can keep them all busy. I mean,
Are they
I
going
guess
back to
it's
school in the fall?
yes, all of them but one will. So I'm not. I still got to talk with. I'm gonna talk with all the guys one on one and see kind of what their plans are for the year. Still, I need to do that, but I'm hoping that maybe he'll stick around at least through the fall because that's the guy that's really good at landscaping too, who knows his stuff.
I want to go back to this point here in a minute, but before we bypass it, on landscaping. So when you meet with the client
Mm-hmm.
and then they tell you their ideas, one of the clients that you got,
Mm-hmm.
she gave me this architect design. It was beautiful. It was amazing. It was going to be like a $5,000 job, and but the architect did not look at the location of what plants that we have available to our area.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like they can't get half of the plants. So then she totally took out the new bed that we were going to install, and she just said, let's take up these and put new in. I need you to meet with the nursery and see what plants you want to substitute and go from there. I've been waiting for 3 weeks. Another example, I think she also found us on Facebook. I love the Japanese style. I love the Japanese style. What is that? Just like this style. And I'm like, I've got to have plant names.
Yeah.
Well, and then she pointed to the lady across the street. That bush right there, I just love that bush. It had 3 stalks and 3 green balls on it. Never
Mm-hmm.
seen a plant before. Well, I gave them a rough ballpark estimate. And I said, if to go further, we need to go to the nursery and you need to pick out, I want those plants here and those plants and those plants. I'm kind of stuck on getting those people to the nursery. It almost makes me want to go to the nursery and print off a piece of paper with the plant name and the plant picture and create a binder
Mm-hmm.
so I can bring the nursery with me in front of the client and be like, what shrubs do you want? But that's going to take so much time.
Yeah.
So what is your 2 cents on that? How in your experience, how have you closed the deal and got these clients to pick out shrubs and whatnot?
I'm not gonna lie, plants are kind of my weakness. I actually just
Me
did an
too.
estimate today. I installed like the river rock and edging and stuff last winter, but
Mm-hmm.
obviously couldn't get any plants then up here. So I just met with her today and we're putting together kind of what plants we want. And let me pull up my notes. It's one thing that I do is I actually I'll show you in a second. But the notes that I have are pet friendly, no hostas, flowering in the spring, summer, fall, low maintenance. And then she said there were 2 flower beds. One of them is like on their rental house right next door. And she said she wanted it to look cottagey with bushes. I'm not really sure exactly what she means by that, but
Exactly.
it's like what I do. So I go online and just like so for the flowering in spring, summer, and fall, I would go online just to look through like the probably Proven Winters website, just kind of see what types of flowers would we could kind of piece together and create that blooming throughout the season.
Mm-hmm.
I also go to the local nursery, kind of check out what they have. My thing is like just designing and know what looks good together. Like you said, like with the Japanese style.
I mean,
Like
yeah, I mean, I know what I like.
yeah.
I mean, dude, I think every single one of those people saw our Facebook, and he bought this house. He wants to redo the whole front of the house, but he's got huge mulch beds with not a single plant in it. And the HOA is on his butt about planting something. And
Yeah.
I've texted him, hey, we have a spot this week. I mean, it would take a day to plant, 10 shrubs, super, super easy. They don't know what they like, but they don't want to take the time to go and research and find out what they want. And
Mhm.
the only other thing I know to do is just take them to the nursery. But I mean, I understand that they're busy, but it's difficult. If not, their job's not going to get done. I mean, I can't help them unless they want to, I guess, help themselves. So,
Yeah, I'm trying to find the pictures of one of the jobs that I did last year. I like do you know have you heard of Canva?
mm,
It's kind of like a dummies Photoshop. That's what I use for like my graphic design stuff. So I kind of just like to give them ideas. I go on to like I research plants and stuff, and then like you can take out the background and then put them on top of a picture of their property. So I kind of do that like with a few different options, um, and then send them their way, see kind of what they think, and then we can make adjustments from there. But at least it's a starting ground. I don't know if that's the most effective way. That's how I do it. Um, yeah, I wish I
That's
could find a
definitely
different way.
something to look into. Um, hmm.
And it's nothing like super complex. It's there's another like program out there that I think that might make it a little easier, but it was glitchy for me. Let me see. But yeah, I had one. This is the biggest project last year for me was like a $6,000 install, but the client went and got all the plants, so it was like they knew exactly like what they wanted, so they picked everything out and picked it up, and so it was like super easy for me. Didn't have to worry about that.
No kidding.
And then the problem is the person that I just did the quote for today is that lady's aunt. So she was like, "Yeah, I liked what you did with the plants over there at her house." So I'm like, "Okay, I can kind of base it off of what we put in there, but it's not like that was my original idea." So it's
Hmm.
so okay. So here we go. So this is kind of just what I put together,
Oh yeah,
just kind of like essentially Photoshop it in there, and then just kind of listed what all would be in there. Um,
interesting. So
yeah.
was did you Photoshop the mulch and the edging?
Yeah, I photoshopped everything in. Or I did it in Canva, which is like I said, like a dummy's Photoshop. It's super, well, it's not super simple, but it's a lot more simple than Photoshop.
Interesting. That's pretty awesome right there.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing for this estimate today too that I got. But my problem is just like you said, it takes a lot of time to like find the plants that look and go well together. That's my struggle.
Yeah, I think it was oh it was one of the guys that stopped us last year. He's got a he was like, I hate green. I hate green. I just want something that with color. I'm like, well, you've got a few options. Just go to the nursery, tell them that you're my client, and they will help you out. I mean, I really thought about just starting to create, if this landscaping thing is going to keep going all year long, is to, start getting a binder together
Yeah,
and just really,
I see what you mean.
having bring the nursery to us. That way, in the very very back have like a price list.
Mm-hmm.
So because right now, um like dad's house, 6 azaleas, 6 boxwoods, 2 alrevatas, 4 hydrangeas, and 2 gardenias. Super easy. Call the nursery, hey, what's this price? Boom, got it. And but they knew what they wanted.
Yeah.
So I really need to think about, I don't know. I really, really like that idea. And especially if I can maybe combine maybe something like the binder that I can pull from, and oh hey, this would look really good, and bring that picture in with the Photoshop,
Yeah.
and then send that off to the customer.
Yeah, I like that binder idea because I was thinking more when you first said that, I was thinking like you were gonna make a binder for each job and then show it, and I was like,
No,
I just feel, but I know what you mean, like a specific
my
binder that has
binder,
everything.
mine.
Yes, that I like that idea. That has all the plants that you can
We
have
have
available
available.
exactly, and that would they can just flip through all the possibilities and select. I like that idea. I might actually consider that as well.
I mean, because like I said, the architect got stuff that we can't even get. The nursery cannot get. And then she said, I found, what was it? I found a place that has them, but we can only buy a truckload of it, and I can't go buy it. They don't sell to clients. They only sell to wholesale nurseries, and we can only order it if we get a truckload. And I was like, alrighty then. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not. I've got to find a solution. If not, the people who call and want everything taken out and put new in, that's going to be really, really hard. If that's not going to work, but the people who are going to work is, hey, this section right here is just overgrown. I don't like this 10-foot flower bed. Take this up and put 3 new plants in.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be the bread and butter of our landscaping until I can find. Because I had a lady in Huntsville call. I think she also Facebook. I'm not sure. She lives in a townhouse. The townhouse is not 25 foot wide. With her porch and her stairs, she may have an 8-foot bed and a 6-foot bed. It's like the smallest beds. And she's like, I need you to 3D architect me something here. I'm like, ma'am, I don't do that. I'm like, if you had a huge flower bed, I would recommend someone drawing you something up. But literally, you only have enough room. I think she wanted a Japanese maple, and there was room for like 3 boxwoods. What do you do? I mean, I gave her a rough estimate and haven't heard from her. So yeah, that's my situation with landscaping. I'm really considering that, but I don't know if the landscaping is going to still continue, through the summer. Everyone's thinking about it right now,
Mm-hmm.
but once it gets June and July, I don't know how. Which y'all have, you don't have the heat down here like we
Yeah,
do.
that's true.
But it's been on my mind for a while. Is even my local hardware store that I get the rock and the mulch and the black pipe and the pop-up valves. I've even wanted to go. I've asked them for a price list, and that way I don't have to call them and find out what this stuff is. I can come home and have a price sheet for what it is per yard, how much black pipe for downspouts, and then have a binder for the landscaping side. But yeah, dude, that's we're gonna find out, I guess. We've got my books over there. I've probably got 8 landscape jobs that we've got to meet. I've got to find out what they want.
Yeah.
So I do have one of my clients that I cut grass. They're refinancing their house to put it on the market in about a year or 2. And so she met with me at the nursery. I want this there. Yeah, I want that there. I want 4 of these. And dude, so easy. Bam, 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 bam. Updated, because in the original quote, I just put a plant package of $500. And you can get however many plants you want for $500.
Yeah.
Oh, end up being the Arabatas went from $60 last year to $140. So end up being like $700, $750 on plants. So, but her meeting me there, we got everything laid out, no problem. Updated the estimate, resent it in, they approved it. That's going to be the week of the 20th. Yeah, the week of the 20th, we're going to do that job. So that's my dad's job, and that job are the only 2 that I have in concrete ready to go. So we're actually installing the rock at my dad's house on Wednesday. So we'll see. I don't want to. And see, the bad part about it is Ian's mom said, I'm trying to find him a little girlfriend so he can stay here and not go to college in July and just go to college local. So I hope he stays here because he's a heck of a worker. But if I lose him, then we definitely may have to just focus on lawn care until more guys come in, because
Yeah.
right now we're at 55 clients and the phone is starting to ring with people calling about their lawn care. So we'll see. So have you I don't know if I've shown you this. Have you seen the ramp rack?
Yeah. Did you get one? Really?
So
That's awesome.
did you January 29th, I saw a guy post in Kansas City that he's selling his ramp rack. And I didn't really think about it because I was really wanting the ramp rack sport, the small one.
Yeah.
And I was like, so I called ramp rack. I was like, hey, how much total taxes, delivery, everything for that ramp rack, the sport? And they said, by the time I paid delivery and taxes, it was going to be like $2,500. And that guy had the legit ramp rack for $2,600. And come to find out, he's a career firefighter for Kansas City, and he met me in Iowa or Illinois halfway and loaded up on my truck, stopped back by in Tennessee and picked up a second truck, and that's it.
That's awesome. So you got a
So
second truck now?
yes, we got a second truck.
Yeah, that's awesome. Two trucks.
Um,
I think that ramp rack is awesome. Yeah, that's clean.
so that's another reason why I really wanted us the 36 stand on.
Mm-hmm.
It's shorter than the walk behinds. So a 36 and a 48 can fit in the back of that truck.
Both of them?
Yes.
Holy cow. That is awesome.
Dude, I put a four-wheeler, you can barely see it, but there's a four-wheeler and a stand-on in the back of that truck.
Yeah, I see that.
It's squatting, but
Yeah, I
it's in
can see
there.
that too.
So I gotta add some leaf springs to it, but
Is that a long bed or a regular bed?
long bed.
Okay.
I wanted a half-ton long wheelbase, and because I've got my 3/4 ton for pulling a trailer, pulling skid steers or whatever like that. But
Mm-hmm.
especially, dude, they ain't got to pull a trailer. They're not used to pulling a trailer.
Yeah.
No tag, no taxes, no insurance on the trailer, no spare tires, no
Mm-hmm.
flats. So I am very interested just to see how that's going to work. Um, I think that truck will allow Jonathan and Ian both, or just one of them each, to show up, grab that truck, load their stuff up, and go cut 15 yards.
Yeah. That's my that's what I've considered too, because like one of my guys, well, yeah, only one of my guys has experience driving a trailer. And then like I definitely would still need the trailer for like those landscape jobs and
Yeah,
stuff, but
yeah.
I just I think that would be so much more efficient and just ideal,
I've,
especially with those stand-ons. You can just squeeze
oh,
them in.
dude, with the stand-ons, but so you can fit the wheel the fenders, the wheel wells.
Yeah.
You can only get a 48 or
Okay.
less. But if you have like a 52 or 54, you can just
You can kind of like,
back it on, but leave the deck in between the side of the beds,
gotcha. Yeah.
but put your wheels back up on the fender wheels. So I think it's going to be very efficient. I've got $6,500 in that unit
In
for
the
the
truck
truck
and
ramp rack.
what do you get the truck for?
48.
How many miles?
Uh, 210. It's got high miles,
Okay.
but dude, we're only driving 5 minutes down the
Yeah.
road.
Yeah. Well, I know that I got my 2007 1500 Silverado for like 11 last summer, but it's got like it had like 110 miles, I think.
Oh yeah, that's super low miles. So I mean,
Yeah.
I I couldn't afford, a $10,000 truck,
Yeah.
but I think this setup is going to be.
I think that's perfect.
I mean, yeah, but I just don't understand why people don't see that more.
I know.
Everybody
Yeah.
runs a truck and a trailer. Everybody.
I think it's just because everybody is used to seeing that, and it's just kind of like
That's what they go get.
it's just what's common. And even though it's
Yeah.
common, it's like I
So
don't
I'm
know.
like, even my trailer that's custom built.
Yeah.
I mean, I had guys walking up at Lowe's and at the nursery like, what is this? I'm like, it's brilliant. I mean, I got the idea from DK Trailers. I mean, that front box has changed our business to where we could haul mowers and mulch and whatever else. And um, I was actually going to go get a, Florida Pros.
Yep.
Okay, so if you ever watch his videos on YouTube, he had a Ford Ranger that he had a custom built ramp rack, but the
Hmm.
whole bed was that,
Gotcha.
and enough room for one mower. And that's where the idea came from. But I was like, a Ford Ranger would be good, but I always like to have two of everything. One mower breaks down, a blower breaks down, whatever. And so I went ahead and went with the half ton.
Yeah.
They can go haul 2 yards of mulch, go do a mulch job while I'm on shit. And so the whole reasoning behind the ramp rack and the second truck is because last year when I was on shift, the business made $0
Gotcha. Because he
because I
couldn't
had
drive a truck and trailer.
yes, but last year I had a Dodge Cummins 6-speed manual.
Okay.
Nobody could drive that truck.
Yeah.
Nobody. And so I sold it and got the Chevrolet 3/4 ton
Yep.
work truck. They can drive that, but I've got to be with them. And so like tomorrow, Ian's working tomorrow, and we're doing those 8 or 9 crepe myrtle jobs. He's going to drive all day long. I'm just going to be there in the shadows to kind of help, but he's going to run the show, see the job notes, see what I've done. And this is really the first time it's going to, hey, dude, you're in charge. Get it done. And so, but he's going to be driving my truck or trailer and whatnot. And so he's, we'll see. But that's the biggest thing is last year when I was on shift, nobody worked. No one could work. So they
Mhm.
only came to work whenever I was off. So that was something that I wanted to change this year is go out and make the business of money when I'm on shift.
Yeah.
I love talking about this stuff. Like this is I forget who somebody, I don't know who it was. Someone asked some questions so I can do a podcast, something like that. And I was like, no one talks about taxes.
Mm-hmm.
No one talks about, you know, in the business taxes, the employee taxes. And I mean, I guess it's common sense to these big companies, but these new guys coming up, yeah, my wife has to bring home this amount, but then I've got to pay her more to compensate for
Yep.
her taxes. oh, and by the way, I got to compensate more for the business taxes that
Yeah.
pay her taxes. And I'm just like, no one talks about that. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I know it's common sense because I see it on my paycheck from the fire hall. But I mean, how much should you pay someone? What should they make you?
So kind of like adding it into like your budgeting, kind of like
Yeah,
how to plan for taxes.
yeah. I mean, like
Yeah.
that to me, that would be a great topic. And ex- once again, kind of everyone talks about know your numbers, know your numbers, know your numbers. But what does that actually mean? Like,
Yes, I agree with that.
it's yeah, these bigger companies, Brian and Lawn Care Rookie, and all these bigger companies, they may know it, but the 17-year-old kid, or where I was 3 or 4 years ago, shoot, man. I mean, I wish I could have planned for that a whole lot better.
I
And
think part of the problem might be just because of like the different state codes. Like because obviously
yeah,
Alabama taxes are going to be different than Indiana taxes, but
yeah, it is. It is.
it's my problem is just not knowing where to find stuff. Like even online, like I guess that's what accountants are for, but I don't
Yeah, I
know.
mean, look,
It should be
dude,
easy to
that's
find.
the prime example, what you just said. And I've already told you this, but we were going to pay, end up being, I think it was 60 something dollars a month for payroll. Also, my wife had to get the hours, total the hours, email the hours to the payroll company.
Mm-hmm.
Then they email back, hey, payroll is going to be this much. Your business tax is going to be this much. Have this much in your account for this date for a draw.
Gusta's so much easier.
Oh my God. We haven't even started. We haven't, I think next week is the first week. So March 1st started our payroll
Yeah, gotcha.
week. So their first paycheck is going to be March 18th. And so we haven't seen what you have seen yet, but just the fact that she can just type in their hours and it's done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is that
And
right?
yeah, I don't know how you are planning it. Like I know with you can I think you can even have your employees download the Gusto app. They can clock in on their phone and it automatically puts it in and then they can clock out. I do my time tracking through Jobber because that's where all the the notes are and stuff
Yeah.
and
So ours is
addresses.
through Yardbook also.
Okay. Is
But
that how you do time
what?
tracking?
Yes.
Okay.
What plan do you have with Gusto? Does first or second or
Um,
third?
I'm not sure. I want to say probably I actually have no idea. Is that only available on certain plans?
I think.
Okay.
No, I know they can download, like they have a login that they can see their paycheck stubs, they can
Yeah.
see information. They did all that, but the time tracking part, I believe, is only on the second and third one.
Okay. I could be wrong on that.
So, which is a very, very good idea. But um, like you said, with the software that me and you are using with the notes and everything like
Mm-hmm.
that, it's so much easier
Yeah.
to to do it that way. But like people talking about, no one talks about Gusto besides Mike Andes.
Yeah, I've heard him a couple times, but yeah.
That's how I got three months free, is through signing up through him. Um,
Dang, I wish I would have done that.
I almost messed up and I was like, hey, wait, I know Gusto from somewhere. So but see, like no one talks about that. No one talks about, hey, this company is really, and I'm sure there's plenty of companies that do payroll, but it's the fact of,
Everybody pretty much. It's just
yeah,
I
it's
guess it's
just,
just second nature to them.
yeah. And so I mean, my mom is still using the payroll company that we were going to use, and then I went and showed her, like, look at this, because my dad owns a construction company and his subs are on salary. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, Mom, you could set up automatic payroll and you don't touch a thing. And she's like, really? I'm like, yeah, you just set it up and it's automatic payroll and they get paid and you don't touch it. And you know what's in your account and boom, it's done. So when did you start Gusto?
Um,
Last year or this year?
last year. I think it was
Okay.
June was the first month that I recorded it. Because one problem that I had was that like, where was it? June? I don't know. I know I like started. I set it up in like the second quarter, I think, and then I started payroll in the third quarter. So I did have an issue that like it didn't file because I didn't have like Gusto didn't file anything because I didn't have any payroll. But Indiana saw it as, hey, you set this up. Why didn't you file this? So I got a notice for that, but it was just I just had to put in 4 zeros. But
Hmm.
other than that, the only problem I had was the one last week or a couple weeks ago, but that was the state's fault. So yeah, I think Gusto was super easy and awesome. And you can like print off like the pay stub and everything that tells your employees where all their money's going and everything.
Yeah. So as I've just got so last year I did 1099s for
Mm-hmm.
Ian and my nephew. And so as a 17 and 18-year-old, you know, the more money you bring home, the better.
Yeah.
But then also like talking with Ian's mom, she was like, yeah, so his sisters got a W-2 and they got money back this year, but Ian didn't because he got 1099. And he was like, oh, what the crap? So now he will, but
Mm-hmm.
he's not going to bring home near what he did last year. So um, I'm kind of interested to see how this goes with their payroll and whatnot. But so, do you take an owner's draw, or like are you on the payroll, or how do you do that?
That's one thing that I did not do well last year. I my thing is I took owner's draw, but I didn't take them through Gusto, which I probably should have. So I'm kind of worried, or I don't know. I'm just kind of curious how that's going to go tomorrow when I meet with my accountant. Like how, because I definitely didn't do everything right, and I'm going to figure out what I did wrong tomorrow, hopefully. Um, but yeah, and I another thing I did last year because I got a new truck, trailer, equipment, just bought a new mower this January. I didn't pay myself nearly what I should have, so I didn't pay myself hourly or anything, and I don't have the financial responsibility that like you as a father and stuff does. So I just left all the money in the business and withdrew a few times, like $1,000 here and there. But this year I'm definitely going to put myself like on the hourly, so I'll make the same as everybody else. And then I don't know, I might take an owner draw, but we'll
So
see.
how does so from mine, and this is could be totally different where you live. So my wife is part owner.
Mhm.
She's on the LLC. So let's just say she wasn't, and I was getting the income. I could A, do a W-2, or B, do a 1099. From my understanding, a owner's draw has zero taxes coming out, but it shows up on my personal side of taxes as extra income.
Yes, I now that you say that, I think that is how it works because I like I said, I'll probably figure out tomorrow, but I know like so on Gusto I have it set up so like I can be paid two ways. So I can be paid hourly and I can be paid like I don't know if it's technically called by
It's a
salary or
salary.
yeah, okay. But yeah, so I have it so that I can receive payments both ways. So if I wanted to, but I think you are right with the owner draw thing.
So like my if I did a 1099, or I'm sorry, if I did a W-2, yes, I would have a W-2 from the fire department and a W-2 from my business.
Yeah.
But if I did a owner's draw, I would have one 1099 or one W-2 from the fire department, but then I would have a report of
Yeah.
$8,000 coming out for extra income, but it has not been taxed whatsoever. So therefore, from my understanding, it could hurt me on the personal side of things when it comes to taxes. And so that's what I've got to figure out, because so my fire department pays for this house.
Mm-hmm.
It runs the house. I had to replace my wife's income when she quit work. So last year, us not being an LLC, us just flying by the seat of her pants or whatever, I just monthly drew out whatever she needed to pay the bills that she once paid. And so now this year, we're going to put her on W-2. She has an income, but I also would like some, I guess you can say, play money for
Yeah.
myself. $100 a week, $400
Mm-hmm.
a month. Just give me something that I can, if I want to go to our farm in Tennessee or whatever, I'm not using business money. I'm not using personal money. I have my fun money or whatever. So that's what I've got to figure out is, so if you find out anything tomorrow, let me know. But it's on the owner's draw. How does that affect taxes
Yeah.
and on the business and personal side of things?
Yeah. I'll definitely probably have to find out, because I was just, so pretty much what I did was I just took like $1,000 straight out of the account and then put it elsewhere and just marked it as an expense in my books. I don't, yeah, we'll see. But then I also have like a little bit of hourly that I charge. So are you going to be taking only owner's draws then, not paying yourself hourly or anything? Or
Me,
yes, you.
that's because I don't want to pay taxes and all the other
Yeah.
stupid stuff.
I mean,
Just to,
you'll still probably have to pay the taxes, just not the extra company taxes, which is
yes, exactly.
pain.
Yeah,
That'll
I mean
save you.
that, and I may have to pay federal and state when it comes
Yeah.
time to taxes, but I don't think you got to pay Social Security and Medicaid and all the other junk.
Oh yeah, that's true too.
I mean, that's what you got to pay on the W-2 side.
Yeah. Yeah.
FICA, Medicaid, Social Security, federal and state. And so with the owner's draw, I think you bypass that. But when it comes time to do your taxes, I think you may have to pay.
Yeah.
It goes towards extra income, which may affect your state and federal, I believe.
Gotcha. And then
So
does that count as like a like expense then, from like you can write that off your company income then, right?
I don't know. So that's a good question.
Because
I
if not, then I don't know if it would be
be
worth
worth it.
it. Better having this conversation, because then I'm coming up with some questions to ask
Yeah,
my
100%.
CPA tomorrow.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
is it owner's draw tax deductible, or can it be labeled as an expense? I guess you could say.
So I assume that you've done all your books yourself and stuff. You never had an accountant do anything,
Um,
or like
yeah, yard
okay,
book takes care of all that, and I just hit the
gotcha.
report and give to the tax person. So once again, going back to like knowing your numbers and stuff, like last year, dude, if I wanted money, I just went and took it out.
Yeah.
But being an LLC, according to my tax lady, you can't do that.
Yeah. See, the problem is that's what I did last year, and I was an LLC last year, so that could be, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Luckily, somehow for 2020, we owed a couple thousand. But last year, this year for taxes, we got back several $1,000s. So I don't, that doesn't make sense in my brain, but maybe it was the expenses that we had, the new mowers, the truck, the shop, that helped us out. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So we'll go ahead and wrap things up real quick. I got two questions for you. First
Mhm.
off, I know you've got a couple John Deere mowers. You got a stander and a sit down. Which one do you prefer?
The stand on.
Why?
It is so much more efficient. So we have a John Deere 930M, which is a sit down 60-inch. We have a 648R, which is the stand on 48-inch.
Yep.
And then Friday night at midnight, me and my buddy actually went to South Carolina to pick up a 636 M stand on. And so we no longer push mow anything, period. Um, a few clients that I've had actually got bigger gates for us, so we didn't have to push mow. But
That's nice.
now we don't have to have that conversation. We have a 36-inch mower, but we, as the foreman of the company that I used to work for, we ran X Mark 48 walk behinds and X Mark stand on 48s. And man, the stand on handles heels so good. I can open a gate and close a gate and never get off the mower.
That's nice.
Going around. So the only negative part about a stand on is you got to watch your head on lamps.
Yeah,
That's really
that's fair.
that's really the only negative part about it. And so I a stand on, unless you've ran it for a very long time, some people just don't understand how good they can be. I have a buddy who has a John Deere sit down, and he's like, how can you stand up all day? It's easy. I'd rather stand up all day than sit down, because my back hurts from bouncing up and down all
Yeah,
day. But if you stand up, your knees take a lot of that shock out of the ride. So my back does not hurt whatsoever on a stand on, but it does on a sit down. So um, I John Deere has been awesome. We got all two of those new mowers last year in March, and it has our efficiency, our timing, our quality of work, everything has been awesome.
right on. Yeah, as you know, I just transitioned from the ride on to stand on, so I was curious about your opinion on that. And then final question, actually right before we hopped on this call, I listened to your interview with Jeremiah
Mhm.
over at Growing Greens, just to kind of make sure that we weren't, I guess, asking the exact same questions and stuff. And one thing he does on all of his podcasts is ask, "What's your why?" at the end of every podcast. So I've taken his idea and kind of switching it a little, because one thing that I like asking people is their favorite book. So do you have a favorite book?
Man, I
If
am
if,
not a
if you know what book,
reader.
I'll take a movie as well then.
Oh me. Oh shoot. So have you ever seen the movie The Man from Snowy River?
No, sir. Is that it?
It's a good movie. It's an old Western. Um, so we were raised on a farm, so that's kind of why that movie is good. Um, I am not a reader, but I have really enjoyed Paul James's books. I've
Okay,
read all three of those, um, and I've really enjoyed reading Mike Andy's P for P book that just came out.
gotcha.
Um, that has really been an eye opener. So I don't think I am there to that level of actually going full P for P, but for people who don't know what that is pay for performance.
Yep.
Um, but I am taking some tactics, some ideas that I've seen in this book, and implementing it for my guys. If we're on a landscape job and the business makes really good money that day because they worked their butt off and got this job done before I thought it could be done, then I'm going to try my best to throw them an extra 50, 75, 80, $100
Yeah.
for doing that. And so we'll see. I've kind of already mentioned everything to them about it, and they're pretty excited. And I was like, it's not going to be an every week deal or everyday deal, but whenever the business makes really, really good, so will y'all. So um, that's that's hopefully where we're going to go from here.
Right on. Yeah, I've been listening to the Paul Jameson audiobooks recently, so I've definitely been enjoying those as well.
Yeah, I
So
agree. Those and Brian's podcast. There's some really
yep,
good
yep.
stuff out there on everybody's podcast, and um, really makes you start thinking about some things. That's actually where the whole route density thing idea came from. Was, I believe, is one of Brian's route density, and if you're not in our area on our route, you're not making no money.
Yep. I
So
gotcha. Well, thanks for being a guest on the podcast today. Enjoyed talking with you, and yeah, go ahead and let everyone know where they can find you.
yeah, so our Instagram is Cochran's Lawn Care, or Cochran Lawn Care, and we also have a Facebook page. I think it's Cochran Lawn Care and Landscaping, and the Instagram side of things is more the videos and our work and whatnot, and Facebook is more, I guess, clientele,
Yep, yep.
adver- advertising and whatnot. So it's been fun. So I've definitely enjoyed the meeting new people on Instagram and talking with them and sharing ideas and whatnot.
Right on. Yep. All right. So thank you guys for tuning into this episode, and we'll see you next time.